Oh, we can't go live on TikTok. We must have done something really stupid. I just want to point out, I went back and listened to the show. 100% got kicked off of Twitter for using nuclear holocaust in a sentence twice in about a 12-second period. It's my appeal still hasn't gone through. So, um, this is Justice's Waiting Room. This is a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. We're live early. Might be live early moving forward. Again, might be early again moving forward. Uh, we're taking the animals to the vet, so it's that time of year. So that's why I'm early today. I'm 15 minutes early today because I got to take Bruce Wayne to the vet. So I figure I'll come in here. We'll do the show for 90 minutes. I'll get out a little early, and the vet's like around the corner, so got time to round up Bruce and then get him to the vet. Mhm. So again, this is Justice's Waiting Room, a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. I think this is a good place to start. This morning, you got trick Bruce about the vet. Yeah, I gotta round him up. Yeah. I don't one of the things that I'll never do to an animal is force my love on them, especially like cats, 'cause like cats fucking hurt. So you gotta be real good to cats, 'cause otherwise they fucking hurt, right? But if we put the dogs up and sit down, our cats will come love on us just like our dogs do. But they obviously are gonna avoid the dogs. Um, but yeah, Karen will just let you pet her and wants to be petted and will let you hold her. She's a fucking queen. Bruce, on the other hand, he thinks it's a game. Oh, you want to pet me? Chase me. And he will run until you get tired. Mm. So that's why I'm a little early. Gotta get the cat to the vet. There's nothing wrong with them. But yeah, Bernie Sanders introduced the bill to ban pharmaceutical ads from TV. Yeah, you know what I don't want to see when I watch Game 7 of the NBA Finals? Prescription drugs for depression or anxiety or like what the fuck? But yeah, the Pacers lost. It wasn't pretty. There was a flash where the Pacers were ahead at halftime. But to be real honest with you, if you go back and watch the third quarter of Game 7, I think the Pacers had double-digit turnovers. It was like hot potato on offense. For several possessions in a row, they just turned the ball over. And I think Oklahoma City was a little more energetic in that period. Um, and to be honest with you, TJ McConnell's who kept them in it. And one of the things that I wanted to show, I coach sports, is that conditioning's a big goddamn deal. And in terms of Tyrese Halliburton getting injured, right? Tyrese Halliburton got injured. They believe his Achilles tear. And they'd said with his strain that he shouldn't, if it was a regular season time frame, that they wouldn't have played. He would have rested, and he wouldn't have played Game 6. Um, well, he blew out his Achilles in Game 7, which is like the time you don't want to do it, especially given that the Pacers were winning at halftime. They were tied. They were winning deep into the third. Now, you got to win the whole fucking thing. And obviously, it sucks to lose and be like, well, if our best player was healthy, then you got to think about all the people along the way who were injured along the way. And understand the Pacers did have the toughest path to an NBA Finals championship ever, should they have won. So it's not surprised. I'm not surprised they lost. And also, I'm not on the team, and I don't benefit if they win. I don't work for any organization affiliated with the Pacers. So I'm just a fan. Okay. But also like have lost before and have won before. So you want to be the same person, win or lose. Um, and especially when you're talking about something that you don't actually have anything to fucking do with, right? I want to make sure everybody understands before anybody takes any personal shots at me over my Pacers fandom. That's lifelong. Hmm. Yep. I'm not like most like Lakers fans, no offense, all the offense. But I saw this yesterday, kind of dicking around on the internet, and I thought, oh, we'll have to talk about this tomorrow. So it's not tariffs. It's not indiscriminately bombing Iran's nuclear enrichment sites, facilities. Okay? That has people concerned. It's not how he treats people or doesn't pay them. No, it's his talk about God that has people concerned from his speech the other day. Multiple references to gods. Donald Trump's attacks on Israel were based on vibes and not at all based on intel. So I just want to point out that Donald Trump bombed these nuclear enrichment facilities because Benjamin Netanyahu paid him to do it, and not at all based on the intel that he'd received. And the reason that the US military cooperated is because those facilities had been abandoned. Well, all of the nuclear material had been removed well before the bombing. This all stinks. And I want to point out that Obama had a deal in place to keep Iran from developing nuclear weapons. And Donald Trump backed out of that deal. Of course, he backed out of that deal. Okay. But the reason that we're in this situation is all Donald Trump's fault. This is all Donald Trump. Intel did not tell this Donald Trump to bomb nuclear sites in Iran. I'm guessing fucking no one told Donald Trump to bomb the nuclear sites in Iran except Bibi with a whole bunch of money. Remember, the way Netanyahu and Trump live is as though they're winning. I just want to point out that I watched bombs fall in Israel last night and I wasn't upset at all. I have a great deal of empathy, a great deal of empathy, specifically for all the women and children that the IDF has killed. Uh, Free Gaza, free Palestine. Fuck Israel. Israel was founded in 1948 by the head of the Jewish Agency. His name was David Ben-Gurion. And its role, its job, was to be an ally to the United States in the Middle East and to mirror and mimic the United States' expansionist and imperialist ways. And the reason that it's such a great partnership is because, well, the United States had been warmongering, and we'd kind of got to the point where we didn't need to do that anymore. And the defense contractors in the United States started to get a little nervous. And keeping the U.S. military consistently engaged in combat lines the pockets of defense contractors who I just want to make sure that I point out are not in the business of supplying the United States military with the best equipment. They'll sell it to anybody, anywhere. They're arms dealers. You know, there's a million movies about the lack of ethics and morals and how people don't have that shit anymore, and they live in a system that they can't fix. And I'm one of those people that says if you spent an iota of the energy trying to fix this machine, it would run. But instead, because you live in a capitalist consumerist state, we don't fix shit. We just fucking throw it away and buy a new one. Buy a new one. Tell me I'm wrong. That's the America I know. I don't talk to people unless I got something to sell them. Apparently. But yeah, I do want to make sure I say that it's already out of the news. It's already not being talked about enough. Hey, a far right uh nut job killed two Minnesota lawmakers like last week. Nobody batted an eye. And just remember before that there was like a 43-year-old New Jersey. Now she died of natural causes, but she was just 43 years old. Like, whoa. Okay. Ben and Donnie, Dumb and Dumber. Yeah. Yep. And I want to make sure that I point out that, you know, one of the things that I think uh, is all these elected officials, current and former, including Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Hakeem Jeffries, are major beneficiaries of the AI PAC into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it's because I want to keep you in mind, keep this in mind. We're very likely headed into a conflict because of what Iran is going to do to the United States. So just remember that Iran's, and well, for the record, the U.S. was kind of fucked either way because Benjamin Netanyahu said if Tel Aviv falls, New York City's next. I took that as a threat, and then um, he bombed Iran on vibes. Yeah, that's right. Donald Trump, the president of the United States, ordered the illegal bombing of Iranian nuclear enrichment sites that had been abandoned and did not have nuclear material in them at the time on vibes. Donald Trump did that on vibes. He flew the B-2 bomber thousands of miles, had to refuel and shit and deliver a payload. When Iran strikes the United States, I hope they hit their target. I hope they hit what they're aiming at. And I hope it's because as I've said before, every single Republican elected official took money from Russia. and 100 of the elected Democrats in the United States take money from AIPAC. And there are also a group of Democrats called the Blue Dog Caucus that always vote conservatively. Okay. And so what I'm saying is if the United States appears awfully pro-Russia and pro-Israel, that's why. It's not because that's what's in the best interest of the American people. What happened was the rich and powerful got involved into politics. They dabbled, and they made the government give them a pay increase, a tax cut. Yeah. All that I think that Iran needs to do to make their point is uh, Jack Smith. Well, the thing that you got to understand about Donald Trump attacking Iran is that Iran is actually building these drones and selling them to Russia. So remember that it's a complicated game. Geopolitics is. I'm gonna throw this out there though. Are you ready for this? Bombing people on vibes is not diplomacy. Are we good? Bombing people just 'cause that's not good geopolitics. What is very clear is that Israel barking up the wrong fucking tree. Iran is a massive country in the Middle East. And again, I don't give a fuck what they do to Israel. I hope they fuck Israel up. But understand that Donald Trump does not have the power to declare war, and the entire reason what he did went off is because it was nearly zero cas. We could satiate this old fuck. We get to take the B2 on a spin, right? We get to throw something out the fucking bottom and refuel on the way home. Like, it's a dream. It is really a dream. There's a lot of people that have dreamt their whole life about that fucking mission and they fucking did it. And the good news is it was zero cas because all the nuclear material had been removed. That's the good news. That's the good news. That's the good news. You know, it's also a good news. Iran wasted no time bombing the dog shit out of Israel. And I just wanted to point out we might be unfortunate geopolitical allies with Israel, but we certainly ain't allies with Iran, who's selling fucking drones to Russia that Russia's using to fight Ukraine, who they illegally invaded. You get it? Iran ain't our fucking friend either. I know, Crush. Like I had an adult beverage last night or two watching the NBA finals. And I woke up this morning and was like, how does that motherfucker get up every day? I take care of myself. Ooh, hoo, hoo. There's got to be some good shit. You know what I'm saying? I'll put it like this. I'll put it like this. Let me tell you the story, and this is how we know nothing. Nothing. I don't know anything. Okay. Many years ago, many years ago, my wife and I got to go to Mexico for like a week. And you know how they tell you don't drink the tap water? The good news is you could see it, so you just knew not to drink the fucking tap water. You could you could see it. Okay. So I didn't actually drink Mexican tap until the last day. Apparently, I fucked up and I asked for water. I didn't ask for bottled water. Some shit. I got the fucking Revenge of Montezuma. within 3 days of coming back from Mexico. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, was sweating to the point of exhaustion. I was pumping fucking Gatorade, puking fucking constantly. Anything I ate came up for a good 2, 3 days. On day three, I actually go back to work and I threw up 9 times at my desk, and my boss was like, "You gotta go to the VA. Gotta go to the VA ER." So for the record, I drove my ass, hurling in my fucking trash can to the VA hospital, and I almost could not climb into the bed when they finally got me to a room. And they put me on IV because I was obviously dehydrated. They put me unconscious. I didn't go unconscious. I went unconscious because of sedative, and they gave me an enema so they could fucking figure out what the fuck was going on. And here's what happened. Within a few hours, I woke up feeling like $1 million fucking dollars after they had pumped a bevy of drugs into me to try to figure out what the fuck it is because they did not know what it was. And a few hours later, I was like fucking Wolverine. Hmm? I just needed a nap. Hmm. I'm dead ass. When I was like, "Oh, what happened? Like, what was it?" And they were like, "I don't know. We don't know." No, come on. Had to be like Mexican flu or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like food poisoning? And they're like, "No." Yeah, so there's nothing fucking wrong with you. We had to pump a bunch of drugs in you, and a few hours later, she's okay. But I haven't had anything since. I never get sick. That's what makes it even more bizarre. Is they weren't able to. They ran a bunch of tests, gave me a bunch of dope, and were like, "Yeah, we don't actually know what that was." But you got a cocktail that cleared it up. From the VA. And they didn't tell you what it was. And they didn't know what it was wrong. Nope. But they know how to fix it. It was clearly the 3 hour nap with the metal tube up my asshole. That's that'll get anybody off the gurney, right? But yeah. So when people are like, "I can't believe Donald Trump's still alive," I'm like, dude, I almost died at the fucking VA hospital 7 years ago. And I still don't know what happened. Nah, the enema was cold, so kind of startling. That was supposed to be funny. She could have like lubed it up or like held it with her hand at all. And I don't shave because that's wild. Who could have anticipated? You know what I mean? Empress. But yeah, so when people are like, "I can't believe Donald Trump is still alive," what could possibly be keeping him alive? I mean, you know how I feel about it. Like, hey, I'm pretty sure they can keep just about anything alive if they want to. Which again, yep. I just want to point out that People keep saying that we're at war. We're not at war. Congress has to declare war. And the thing about it is you can't help Israel. Can't help Israel no more. Nope. Not when you're bombing Iran on vibes, bro. You're gonna get us fucking nuked. Yep. But yeah, he's clearly like from what I understand, he is an old school cokehead. Taking a slug here, a slug there, just to get through the day, right? Well, mix that with, I mean, think about it. He has to have cocaine, caffeine, right? His heart is trying to fucking stop. Yeah. Well, hey, there's a reason every single day to start this show. What did I say? War. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Who benefits when the Americans go to war? The war machine does. The fucking military industrial complex. Banana, banana. Yeah, the military industrial complex includes all your favorite aircraft companies, Boeing, fuck all of them, Northrop Grumman. Yep. The problem is those are all international corporations. So they will build aircraft for anyone. That's the problem. The problem is that our tax dollars are given to defense contracts, which I want to point out do not trickle down to the U.S. Armed Services. So it's not like we're giving these companies money, our tax dollars, and they are developing products that our military uses. No, they are constantly developing new weapons of war and selling them to the highest bidder. So again, I'm opposed to war because there are consequences. And I ain't just talking about the 18 to 25-year-olds you're gonna send in to do your dirty work that largely voted for this shit. I noticed most of the people that are excited about this happening are elderly people that will never step a foot in that country. So you don't have to do anything. A lack of empathy is where we are. There are entire generations of people, and the good news is they're fucking dying in droves. Because every day somebody realizes I'm fucked up and that they've been on the wrong team their whole fucking life and they have just been absolutely uh windstrewn. Just as I've said, I'm gonna make sure I say it very often. I'm a very social person. I'm a young 41 years old, right? I have never met in my whole life people that call themselves Democrat or Republican. So and I've never met people that you would call conservative or liberal. Most people are too fucking ignorant to be either. Most people, once you find them, once you figure out who they are, most people, once you figure out who they are, yep, shut up, Rush. But yeah, we're not uh we're not at war with Iran. Donald Trump totally bombed Iran on vibes, bro. Uh, I want Iran to dump all these reports. I want the reports from the 2024 US election. I want it all because I want Trump to try to push Bibi into doing something dumb and him get killed in the process. Like that would be just the the cat's pajamas. Hmm. Like Israel or Iran tries to coax Bibi into a meeting, and then he like shows up with his like envoy, and he's got this massive security, and they just fucking just bomb that shit, and you're like, oh, there's video of Netanyahu getting fucking absolutely blown to smithereens. I would really love to see his body flying through the air with the greatest of ease. You know what I mean? Like I have watched so many videos of children. I've watched so many videos of small children flying through the air. I saw a little girl walk through fire and survive. I really don't care what happens to BB. I hope it's just as bad as what he's done. And understand that all of this is happening so that they can enrich themselves, avoid accountability, and the worst part about all of this is that half of the good guys, the Democratic Party, take money from Israel. And the Democratic Party is very pro-Israel. And I just wanted to point out that they're just an unfortunate ally. It's just these are just the facts. They're just an unfortunate ally. The hard reality about Israel is that it is not the same Israel. It's not the same Israel from the Bible. And that's what's hard for people to understand. It's very hard for adults to understand that modern Israel was created in 1948 by the then head of the Jewish Agency, David Ben-Gurion. And the whole point of Israel is to mimic the United States expansionist and imperialist ways. And have they not? And the thing about it is that there you have Americans who see this happen and they're like, that's us. Love it. Yep. But that's what we need to say. If you support Israel, if you take money from AIPAC, you're not going to heaven. If you take money from foreign governments but swear loyalty to the United States, oh my God, you're a bad person. I don't think that your God would want you in your heaven. Oh, you ran as one thing and then you became another? Like people that have run as Democrats and won and then flipped to the Republican Party? A lack of loyalty, right? I'll never figure out why an American would root for Russia or Israel. I think it's because if you're a piece of shit and you've done something horrible and you don't want to take accountability, what is the next thing you could do? You could be a bad guy. You don't have to take accountability. You can just be on all the bad guys' teams, right? And just be on their side on everything and and you'll disguise the fact that you've done something fucking horrible and you just can't take accountability for it. That's the way I feel about it. That's why all of this is happening is because there's a handful, and I say a handful, and it's more like hundreds. There are hundreds of elected officials in the United States that said this job doesn't pay enough and are willing to take money from foreign governments and then have us look in an awful lot like pro Russia and pro Israel when it's really not that way at all. At all. I'm willing to bet you the pro Israel, pro Russia sentiment is very low within active duty, reserve, and former veterans. I'm willing to bet you they're not a big fan of Russia and Israel. And that is growing, and that percentage is growing. Remember, Chuck Schumer's entire goal for the Democratic Party is to keep it pro-Israel. So think about what they've done here, where I mean, think about we got banned off TikTok, or we get banned off TikTok constantly, right? It's been basically 2 days, and they haven't even gotten back to me off of the last one. So I saw this last night too. I was pretty excited to get in here and tell you. So one of the things that is hilarious is that there's what's called the Senate Parliamentarian, and they read over the Big Beautiful Bill and said a lot of the provisions in the Big Beautiful Bill break Senate rules, and therefore, again, as I've said before, the Big Beautiful Bill is gonna fucking yep, told you, told you. Anything that ain't numbers on a budget's got to be looked over. It's fundamentally changing the laws and shit, you idiots. We're talking about the budget. You could tell me how much more you want to spend next year, but you cannot tell me the programs you want to cut. Those things will be debated. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So just know. And just know the reason that now Russia's or Israel's doing what it's done now, it's been terrorizing the Middle East since 1948. Not even 100 years old, and they're attacking Iran, this massive fucking country, right? Which again is Israel's attempt to expand. And again, I know that I'm repeating myself. That's the whole point of this show. I'm gonna say it a lot. Donald Trump bombed Iran on vibes. Do you understand what that means? It's not that he misread US intel, that he had faulty intel. There was no intel. He had no information. The President of the United States had no information that would lead anyone, like there is information out there that would lead anyone to using long-range bombers, period. And I think that all of this is done by a former KGB agent named Vladimir Putin, who has manipulated. Yeah, I hear you, Deb. There's a reason I just keep saying it over and over. Because people keep saying we're at war. We're not at war. There was no formal declaration of war. Congress did not approve this shit. And you know what's going to happen? Iran's going to retaliate against the United States. A lot of Americans are going to die. That's how we get in World War III. And by the way, we don't have an Iron Dome. We don't have that. They're trying to put it up now. So just know that Elon Musk and Donald Trump, they know what they did. This is what happens when you let stupid people be in charge. I've been saying it my whole fucking life. They keep putting stupid people in charge of everything. Everywhere I go. By the way, core memory unlocked yesterday. I my wife was upset that I didn't mow and I ran out there and mowed the backyard and shit. I'm not mowing my yard until this dude comes to professionally do it. All my neighbors' yards look are at tens. All my neighbors' yards are immaculate, and my yard looks disgusting. But I'm having someone come and fix it. I'm paying to have it done professionally. Yeah. But I just want to point out that like the Golden Dome's only so good, and like missiles that Iran have launched have just like broke right through that. So it's not even that thing. And the thing about it is, the reason that it's so acceptable is because for many generations of Americans, all we've known is war. All we've known is go there, fight these people. I just want you to know, this is another one of those war for oil. Should it happen? Should it happen? War for oil, war for control over land in the Middle East. This is Israel attempting to seize Iranian land, their gas fields, which is exactly what, sorts of things that Russia tried to do when they invaded Crimea and took over Crimea. Is they want it because it's nutrient rich, it's mineral rich, it's a strategic move. Yeah, we don't want another stupid war. It's not our issue. This is the part, and this is the thing about being led by chaotic, stupid people, is that I hope Donald Trump says, fuck Israel, I'm not helping Bibi. I got what I wanted. I got the money. I got money from him. I got him to give me money. Gave me a bunch of money to attack Iran. Fuck them. Let them fight their own war. I mean, one of the worst parts about all of this is all of the Americans stationed in the Middle East that are now in danger. This administration's also not helping them get home, which he could. He'd absolutely make sure that they pay for their flight home and any accommodations that need to be made. Morning, everybody. We started a little early today. We're gonna end a little early today, so anticipate me hopping out about 9:15. I gotta go take Bruce Wayne to the vet. I gotta go get my hands on Bruce. I gotta put Bruce in a carrier, and then I gotta drive Bruce to the vet. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. The administration made a statement. Correct me when I'm wrong. Something to the effect of, they have 1,000 different ways to get home. I think that's what he said. Yep. Hmm. There are other ways. I thought there are 1,000 other ways for them to get back to the United States. Hmm. And again, I think it's because he's paranoid. I mean, think about, he has dementia. He's a horrible racist, a horrible sexist. He doesn't. get intel briefings, daily intel briefings. He doesn't get those. He might get one a fucking week. Yeah, he is Bruce Wayne. But yeah, I think that's the worst thing about all of this is all those people that he put in danger. He's not helping them escape either and get back to the United States. You know what I mean? Like that's just super shitty, dude. And I mean, the thing about Donald Trump is he's a violent person. And again, an illegal bombing, an act of war does not make us at war. And I'm not pro-war. If you're pro-war, you're idiots. And mostly because it ain't gonna be you. If you think, oh, this is the shit I want to do, it's not you. And I think the best story today, a judge has denied this administration's ability to further detain Kilmar Abrego Garcia, and he will be a free man before his trial, which he's also going to win. Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Oh, you were wondering who's funding the war? Here you go. It's a billionaire. Hmm. Palantir. Palantir is also helping Israel wage war. Remember how I told you, hey, you got to divest from Palantir. You got to make sure your retirement money is not being invested in fucking Palantir. Hey, Palantir is not a great company at all. Palantir got a contract from the US government for Americans' data. Palantir developed a system called Lavender, which is an AI system that can generate soft targets for your weapons systems, including civilians. Palantir built that. And Palantir is also working with the Israeli military to incorporate AI. Remember, what they do with Israel to Palestinian people and poor people and women and children, I just want to point out if you are supporting Israel at this point, all of this is okay. And I just want to make sure you understand it's mostly been women and children. You are okay with all of this cruelty for decades against mostly women and children. And now Palantir, uh, Peter Thiel is the ultimate bad guy. Remember, at Libertopia in 2014, Peter Thiel said, my ideas are so unpopular, we would never win an election. So we had to force it. Yeah, we identify the bad guys. I've said it's these white South Africans. It's Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, David Sachs, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg. I've called them the unfuckables. I just want to remind you that Jeff Bezos brought a whore to the inauguration who was wearing a bra. Her bra. She wore a brassiere to the fucking inauguration. No offense to women. Specifically that person. They were all fucking high as fuck. Those are the fucking bad guys. So as I've said, delete Facebook, Threads, IG, WhatsApp, Messenger, Twitter. Stop shopping at Amazon. Do business locally. What up, Al B? Said he been working overtime. I feel you, fam. My thing is, you know what my shit is? I always say I'm not gonna work fucking overtime because fuck these people, right? Like every week I work overtime. What are we even talking about, bro? Acting like I didn't want to work. Even when I hate it. I hate working. I'm an older person now. I'm just like, oh my God, I want to go home. I am at home. Yep. So listen, I gotta pitch it since I don't ever say give me money. Listen to me. I don't want your money, but I want you to look at your budget and I want you to seriously think about how much money you spend a month on unsecured debt. This is high interest debt. Credit cards, student loans, payday loans, personal loans. And I'm telling you, your 80% of your minimum payments interest. So however much money that you're spending on your credit cards and shit, 80% of that is interest. It's air. So if you're for every $100 a month you spend on unsecured debt, $20 hits principal. And you can overpay and try to get ahead, but those overpayments have even higher interest. Interest is your problem. If you sit down and you look at your budget and you realize interest is my problem, you need to give me a call. My name is Jared. I work for Beyond Finance, accredited debt relief. My direct number 1-877-230-7106. My direct extension is 2729. I would much rather have someone who knows who I am as a client than someone that doesn't know who I am as a client. Why? Because I actually take care of my clients. I actually call my clients. I actually like follow up with you after I sold you something and I say, "Hey, I don't have anything to sell you. I'm just following up to say like, do you have any questions? Has anything happened?" Shit like that. Okay? So that's it. That's my spiel. I want you to save money. I want you to get out of debt as fast as possible. I want you to stop using your credit cards. It's a trap. And 99.9% of the people that I talk to qualify for my program, could save a bunch of money for programming, and get out of debt in a few years. And look at what's going on around you. Don't you want to put as much money in your pocket right now and get out of debt as fast as possible and be a little more mobile? Okay. I started talking to people and I'm like, I think this person knows who I am. So I know people are doing research on me. I want to point this out. Tucker Carlson is responsible for all of this. And so now that he's being hard on Republicans, I just said hard on and Republicans in the same sentence, as though those things belong in the same sentence. Anyway, um, Jesus shared. I just want to point out Tucker Carlson is responsible for all this. So now that he's going ham on Republicans, people are like, "Oh my God, I'm for it." And it's like, he's still a fucking asshole. And this is all his fault. Yeah, how the fuck am I gonna sit here and call them all unfuckable and then use hard on and Republican in the same sentence and not bring it up? I remember Stephen Miller is impotent. That is why we're all suffering. Because Elon Musk has had a botched penis surgery. He had a penis enlargement surgery go wrong. Iran vows to kill 50,000 US soldiers. 50,000 is a terribly low number. You should tell Iran to aim higher. Those are rookie numbers. I promise you that's not how that goes at all. Stacy said they need to stop giving me increases. Yeah. No, what the worst is when they start cutting your credit limit. I've had a lot of people reach out lately and say, I try not, I'm frozen up. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world, and I don't feel comfortable putting shit on credit. And, most of the people I talk to are making pretty good money. Like, most of the people I talk to are probably making north of $75,000 a year. So, money can't buy length. No, buddy. You gotta have the foundation. Like you gotta have big dick energy in order to get like dick enlargement and it shit works, right? But if you are like giant pussy energy, your fucking penis is gonna split and try to form a vagina because you're a bitch, Elon. And then again, that's what I've heard. So Elon was born in South Africa and he wasn't satisfied with the product, right? I mean, here's what we've learned about Elon. Elon's dad's worse. Elon's dad just spoke or getting ready to speak at like this world far right fucking bullshit. hmm Angie said, I heard the Afrikaners don't like it here and want to go back. Yeah, you know why? Here's the thing I've learned. If women catch a vibe off you, oh honey, you'll never get within 100 feet of them. And she gonna tell every girl she knows, not do not get within 100 feet of that man. So what do you think happens when all these Afrikaners come over here? White South African men, all they got is money. All they got is money. But here's the thing that I know, okay? Pretty girls have men with money fawning all over them all the fucking time. I when I came home from the Marine Corps, I met a girl who literally owned a horse farm. And she was hot, like a hot little blonde girl. And everywhere we went to party, she would come up to me because I was always nice to her. I never flirted with her. I date around her. I'd never date her. She came up to me one time, and she's like, "How come we don't date?" And she stole my sunglasses, and never gave them back. I had a pair of white Oakleys that were pretty fucking hot. She stole those. Um, she said, "How come we don't date?" And I was just like, "I'm not interested. I'm dating someone else, and they're here, by the way." Um, she pointed out that this dude, and this dude all said they'd put her on retainer. And I was like, I don't understand. And she was like, come with me. And we went out into the casino part of the club we were at. And she goes, yeah, yeah, the DJ said, like, you want to fuck. And I was like, and? And she was like, he said he'd pay me $10,000 a month. And I was like, 10K, huh? Is that after taxes or what? You gotta set up like a direct deposit? Like, how's he do it? How does he afford to pay you $10,000 cash? And she was just like, "You're considering this?" And I was like, "Oh, I would take him all the way to the table. Oh, you're gonna pay me to date you, and I'm gonna get him all the way to the part where he has written out a fucking contract and sat me the fuck down and is I'm getting ready to sign this shit." And it's like, are you really trying to buy me? Are you fucking crazy? And then dip on his ass. Um, and she said that's just how rich men are. They know that she's like, they know I could get a better looking man because she was little. And you know when you're a short, pretty girl, the field's more wide open than if you're like a tall, pretty girl, then the fucking kind of confined on who you can date. There's Amazon lady, right? She's little and pretty, so the her dating range was wide open. All she cared about was like, I want to have a good time. And every man that she's with had a bad fucking time. Why? Because he thought he owned that. We go out to the club. She's with her girls, man. Y'all just gotta let her go. She is a horse rider. She's like a wild horse. Just let her go have fun, dog. And he's all these guys, and it's just like, did, didn't you just give her a Corvette? Oh, like a brand new Corvette? Well, yeah. Okay. I'll never forget. She came up to me one night. We were at a bar. I had just got there. I hadn't even like drank yet. And she flipped the keys to this Corvette at me, and she's like, "Got to take me for a ride. I can't even drive this shit." And I was like, "Who's this?" And she's like, "Oh, this is Steve's um vet that he gave me." And I was like, "Bullshit." And she pulled the fucking title out. It was paid for, cars in her name. And I was just like, hey, you get in a tight spot. You know, you can just sell this for like 50 to 60K." And she's like, "Yeah, we took it for a ride." And I told her, "This is way too much power. You need to get a baffle put in your exhaust so it powers down this car. Something. I can get, I'll say I stick a little silencer in my muffler and it just is slower, right? This just had too much car. Now she didn't have it long. Her and Steve didn't date very long because uh she went on to the prettier, just as wealthy next thing. And she was doing like the backwards Trump thing, you know? Trump couldn't even date an American person. I just want to point out, like, Trump's couple spouses, Russian nationals. But to go back to uh this girl I was talking about, this is what comes with the territory. When you're a PYT and you have like friends and you're very social, like men want that. They have decided that is the one I want to possess. And I try to tell them like she's a wild thing. She's a horse rider. She has a lot of fun. That's not something you want to possess. You just want to let it be wild and fun and free. It'll settle down one day. She still hasn't, by the way. Still friends with her. Still rides horses. Still parties hard. Every now and then, jingle, jingle, jingle. How the fuck? She had a Tesla for a while. She had a white Tesla for a while. But you think about it, she didn't need their money. She made money. She owns a farm. She's she's a pretty girl. She can do whatever the fuck she wants. She can date whoever she wants. Every room she walks in, she can get any man she wants. And the guys that she did dated, what were they? What they have in common? Pretty, rich. Zeke said I'm triggered if you read one of the victims' testimonies of Trump when she was 10. No, she did a whole photo shoot with them glasses on and made a bunch of money off that shit off the internet. hmm She told me one time she made like super good money on OF just doing feet and leg pics. She said they don't even know who she is, but she did do a photo shoot with them glasses, and she said it increased her stockpile of men, which is hilarious to me. I wouldn't touch her with a 10-foot pole, not because she was like a whore. That is not the story at all. Not the story at all. She tried to give these boys what they wanted. You want to lock me down? Okay. But then she had like friends. She had actual friends everywhere she went. And she'd be like, Jared, read this shit. Like, what is this? It was a contract. The guy you're dating gave you a contract. Yes. He says that I can't go out, certain times, days, and times. And I'm like, so this guy that you're dating, not only does he want to provide you the vehicle that you drive, but he wants to tell you when you can come and go out of your own house. Because it's not like you're gonna go live in his apartment, right? And she's like, no, I own a horse farm in New Pal. I'm like, I know. She lives in a fucking mansion. Going to the fucking Bat Cave. You don't need this. Like, what are you doing? And she'd be like, he's so pretty. And you're like, okay, okay. And he gives me money and like he gave me a car and shit. And I'm like, but he's trying to like tell you how to like live your life and shit and when you can come and go. He wants you to go to church with him on Sunday. Do you realize that's in fucking Carmel and you live in New Pal? And she's like, "Oh, are you fucking kidding me?" I'm like, "Well, no, I mean, you gave me this contract to fucking read, girl, and he's telling you that you got to go to this fucking church over here, and you can't come out on these nights either. And like two or three of these are nights you're gonna be spending here. So is it worth it?" And of course, she broke up with him, and he had given her a Corvette, and she had to give the Corvette back, and like she had to get a moving truck to move her shit out of his place because that's how much shit she'd brought over there. But she said she went over there to stay the night at his house, and he didn't even have a washer and dryer, so she just got one. But yeah, after he tried to give her a contract, and she said lots of wealthy men are like this. And I just, oh, what? I know my wife's location, and every now and then I'm just like, what street are you on? You know what I mean? Like, is the GPS that fucked? Um, yeah, Angie said like an NDA. Oh my God. My favorite thing was I was friends with this girl for over a decade, okay, after I came home for the Marine Corps. Even after I met and started dating my wife. And every now and then you just run into her out in the wild and you'd be like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Oh, I got trapped." How'd you get fucking trapped? Oh, I met a man with kids. What? Yeah, single father. I guess the woman had postpartum depression and took her life. And he was pretty and he had a fuckload of money and he also has a big house. And I was like, okay, that sounds fun. How are the kids? And she was like terribly depressed because their mother fucking offed herself. And I'm the wild one of the family. They like sit around and watch TV and eat popcorn and go to bed at 8 o'clock. And I was just like, oh God. And how long did that last? And she was like, 18 months. I'm like, whew. How, like you're not even a sit down kind of girl. The horse rider, never mind. She was a wild thing. She's a great friend of mine. This is not at all like I'm the one that got away at all. No, ugh, no. First of all, she's like 4'11". Can't do it. You got to be like 5'7". I'm 6'4". I don't want to look like I'm dating a little kid or married to a little kid. Like my wife is a woman. You know what I mean? She's very womanly. She has womanly features. Oh my God, but every guy that she brought around for years was hilarious. They were like a puppy. They could, first of all, the craziest thing about being friends with the hot girl, every guy she brought around is he's hot too. And you'd be like, "Damn, you're a good looking dude. What do you do?" "Oh, I'm a blah blah blah," and you're like, "Rad." Um, how'd you meet Tara? "Oh, off the internet." I'm like, "Oh my God, she's dating online." Oh, yeah, she tried to do like the romance thing. She didn't do any of the unfaithful shit, but she did get like proposed to and shit in public. But yeah, she would be dating a guy, she'd bring him around. He was like a fucking puppy dog. And you're just like this poor man. And then they'd be in public and she would completely ignore him and go hang out with her friends. And then you just watch this dude's whole life falling apart and you're like, "Oh, all that control. He has he's wealthy. He has all this power and control in other aspects of his life, except this girl that I'm attracted to her and I like want to be around her and shit so much to the point that I want to bed her and I'll do anything that I can. Oh, she money, cars, clothes, whatever. I'll do all of those things. Oh, she wants me to go out to the club with her. And then they'd get out to the club and they'd see her dancing with her girls and I'd just be like, you have two options in life. You should never see this person again, or you should get out there and fucking shake your ass. Because the only way y'all are gonna work is if you're out there shaking your ass and partying just as hard as she is. Hmm? And the problem is, she wasn't really a drinker. All those guys that she dated that felt like they had, okay, I'm not gonna abandon her. I'm gonna go out there and have a good time. Hmm. Hmm. My favorite was her just leaving dead bodies everywhere. Hmm. It was a great. You know how I'm clearly a people watcher and I'm good at it. I mean, I was even like friends with the people I was people watching. You know what I mean? I was like friends with all these people. Because I'm a giant, I always forget this. I'm like a big fucking guy. So like everywhere I go, people are like, "Whoa, who's that big bearded fellow? Looks like he'd probably hurt some people." I mean, you should probably talk to him. Looking for who's a danger in the room. But she did do yeah, money can't buy everything. Yep. Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like she'd be out with a dude and he'd get hammered and then she'd just be like leaving the dead body somewhere. Like, what am I supposed to do with him? Like, I don't know what she's thinking about doing. She's like, I'm going home. Oh, like back to your place. What do you want me to do with him? You should have him get a cab home. I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Nobody ever matched her energy. I don't dance. I pull up my pants and do the rock away. So I ain't him. I lean back. You know what I'm saying? I'm just in the cut. I'm just chilling. I stand on my feet at work all day. Fuck y'all talking about. Also, never had that problem either. I just want to point that out. Booze never did me like that. But for over a decade, I was working armed and unarmed security at these venues. So you got to understand when you run into someone over and over and over again, and I'm in a professional working environment. This is my operating table. This bar, this restaurant, this club in a casino, for example. So when I'm talking about these people, I'm not reminiscing. That was like a client. That's someone you had to like walk up to a lot of gentlemen and be like, "Excuse me, sir. This nice young lady is signaling to me, come the fuck on, bro. Oh my God, she's the prettiest thing I've ever seen." And keep it moving. And then like every now and then she'd stuff $50 in my pocket. She's like, "I saw you." Like I know. But there was like a whole gaggle of people that we hung out with. But anyway, the reason I told you that story is because how do you think the men are that it's like the way I just described it to you was like they're picking out the one they want and buying it and trying to own it. And I'm talking about a woman, like an ESO. What kind of language do you think was used? And I'm switching gears to these Stephen Millers and Elon and Donald Trump. Look, what kind of arrangements do they have with their spouses? Because there's no reason it's legit. There's no reason, there's no way that anyone is around these people voluntarily, as evidenced by the fact that they were all high at the inauguration and none of them had anyone with them except for Jeff Bezos, who had someone that's not his wife. Drugs. Like large quantities of fucking drugs. hmm Where everything is very transactional for them. But hey, we were about 15 minutes early. We're going to cut out about 15 minutes early. I got to take Bruce Wayne to the veterinarian this morning. I got to go get him out of the bat cave, take him to the vet. I just want to point out that the vice president, okay, said we are not at war with Iran, we're at war with their nuclear program. I just want to make sure we say that. Bruce Wayne is fantastic. Maybe a little tubby. He's well fed. He gets around a lot. hmm He's not a. There's nothing wrong with him. He might some skin stuff. Maybe. Maybe he just needs washed. Washed. I don't know. But there's nothing wrong with him. It's just with all this going on, with the president of the United States bombing people on vibes, I decided not to go ahead and pay the money and form the American Socialist Party. I'm gonna wait until next month. I decided to take the animals to the veterinarian this month. Lay low a little bit. You know what I mean? You know. Because here's what I think happens in terms of checking his eye mascariness compact. Yep. No, none of my animals are sick. I manhandle the shit out of my animals. Look them in the eyeballs, clear their eyeballs out, massage their ears, rub their whole bodies. Anything wrong, anything hurting, all the time. They're all good. hmm I take my dogs on walks, most of the time, 2 times a day. Okay, which just means I'm sweating in the morning and then in the evening, and it's sweat once a day. But I appreciate everybody asking, like, hey, is Bruce okay? He is. He is. Yeah, I'm very fortunate that ever since COVID hit, my skills have been very marketable to the point where I'm working from home. Like this job, uh, they reached out to me. Like, will you send us a resume? Okay. And you start next week? Yeah. So I just get to work from home. I make good money, and I should take care of my animals and shit, and make sure they take them to the vet and have them looked at and shit. And then we're gonna get uh our yard fixed. And the whole reason I didn't fix my yard up, I didn't use chemicals, is because I got dogs, and I don't want my dogs to get sick. Like, I want my yard to look good, but I don't want my dogs to get sick, so I'll just have a yard that looks like shit. But eventually, I see all my neighbors' yards are pristine, and I'm just like, fuck. And so I asked the guy how, how long I got to keep my dogs off my grass if I treat it. And they said the first time 24 hours, but after that, no, don't worry about it. It's not harmful to them. So I try to be a good dog dad, a good cat dad. For you know what I've learned about being a cat? If you want a cat to love you, leave it the fuck alone. How about that? Did you ever try that? Like, my wife, beside herself because the cats aren't like outwardly affectionate towards her. And it's just like the cats will give you affection if you stop seeking it and just sit down. And they'll come lay in your lap and let you do whatever the fuck you want if you sit the fuck down. But we have pit bulls and a German Shepherd, and the Germans play with the cats. German Shepherds and cats have a crazy connection. So she's chasing them fucking things around and sniffing them, and yeah, they're constantly under duress. But they're not stressed to like losing fur. I think it's a fun stress. That's why I always think of it. But remember, among all of this shit, chaos is the order. There's a like Donald Trump bombed Iran on vibes bullshit. He did it because Putin told him to. There's everyday protest in Washington, D.C. as part of the May Day movement. You can join 5050.1. Some US base in Syria got attacked. Yep. You can join Indivisible. You gotta let the Mad King know. The yard will keep ticks at bay. Yeah. And cleaning the yard, maybe I'll get to know my neighbors. I think my neighbors talk about me and not to me. Um, and it's because of my yard looks like shit. Um, I really honestly didn't have the money to do what they do. And they have the time. Yeah, the vet's calling me saying, "You gonna be here?" All right, the vet's calling me. Let's call it because I'm afraid something's wrong. So it's like 9:10. We did 80 minutes. Okay. Oh, we'll do 5 more minutes to see if there's anything else going on. Better not talk about you. Oh, honey, I can assure you more is said about me than to me because nothing's said to me. That's why I said it like that. Oh, you're that guy. Oh my God, my yard looks like shit. Yeah. hmm And that last storm is what really made me call someone. Is just going out and feeling like all the trees around my house are just gonna fall on my house. Um, yeah, that was why. That was a big one. That's why I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get my yard professionally done. I want my yard to look like theirs, except I'm not doing all that fucking work because I still gotta work. He said to mow it, trim it, and treat it. $80 a week, 9 months a year. Like, pfft, sold, sold. Buy me a scythe and go Amish. I mean, I have a electric mower. Um, I'm really rough on gear. I always have just been real rough on shit. So I'll spend a few $1,000s a year to just make sure I my yard looks good. And I also am a disabled veteran, so like doing the actual physical labor is not enjoyable because I can't feel my right hand. I can't use my right arm hardly. My shoulder fucking hurts all the time, right? So like actually doing the I'm hearing impeachment talk as well as election interference needs something to happen. Yeah, that's the reason that he bombed Iran on vibes is because impeachment talk about the 2024 U.S. election being rigged is growing, and he needed a distraction. As you said, I'm in the desert. We just have rocks. With all that sunshine though, you could get with all the sunshine in the desert, you could grow a greenhouse. You could use a greenhouse to disperse all that sunlight and grow anything indoors. Should be an interesting week. hmm Isn't Donald Trump going to ain't he going to The Hague this week? Is that the NATO summit that you're talking about? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It'd be great if he gets laughed out of that meeting. That'd be awesome. It's what he deserves. hmm I've seen Wag the dog. Okay. I'll stay on for another minute, and then I gotta call the vet and run out, and I'll be back. I think. I think I'm just dropping the cat off. I don't think oh 100 on YouTube. We'll get out of here on Clapper. 1,000 viewers, by the way, and also still haven't heard back. Still haven't heard back. You see the list of countries that come out. It's just 9 hours ahead of us. Okay. All right, it's 9.